Hey there, guys. What's up? Francis and Did. So, welcome to my channel and the program. Um, Excuse me for my nervousness, because it's been some time that it's been some time since last time I spoke to my computer's vidcam, um, on YouTube. So, yes, perhaps I might just, I might just tend to stutter a little bit. So if you guys can forgive my stuttering. So here we go. I might actually have stuttered. I might actually have stuttered a little bit, but regardless, back to the main point I like to mention regarding this video. So did, these days, I have been trying, I'd say moderately or reasonably hard, to get in touch with people who actually speak English, and the majority of them came from, or at least the majority of them, at least they belong to, my social networks, as well as, or you may prefer to call it social sphere in, in Sydney, Australia, in particular. Because I spent most of my time, I'd say more than 99% of my time in Australia, pretty much most predominantly in Sydney. So that's where I got my friends, or these so-called friends. So yes, so you heard it. Tonight I like to talk a bit about friendship, a bit about the Bible, and my own very interpretation about the Bible. Yes. So yes. I believe last time I injected you guys with some red pills about nowadays friendship, and well, in fact, such red pills, they don't quite, they their truthfulness, their authenticity, um, it not only does it apply to friendship in nowadays, it also applies, to old times, to old times in human history, ever since the birth of humanity. So I think it pretty much relates to some sort, some biblical teaching, especially the biblical teaching about, friendship and fellowship, as well as how we should give and how we should help people who are in need, and unconditionally, without without even a slim um, a a slim tip of ever wanting to receive the reward, you know. Um, so yes, in fact, the way I see it, unconditional existence, unconditional love, and friendship or fellowship actually can make us quite awkward, especially when it comes to, you know you have, excuse me, I believe I have some sort of dirt on my computer's keyboard. Sorry about that. Yes, yes. Where did I just say? Yes, we, friendship or friendship, unconditional friendship, and fellowship, usually can make us feel awkward or some sort of uncanny. When it comes to, we receive some sort of massive favors from a particular person, which means that that person helped you greatly, put in some sort of a genuine put in some sort of genuine effort to help you get back on your feet. Yes, I do kind of have several friends like that. Yes, I say I do kind of have several of them. At least at least as I suppose so. But these days, I have to admit I am running short of friends, and these days I tried my not like my utmost best to help people in whatever way I can, as much as I can, and but I don't actually receive any sort of at least any sort of physical rewards from from the parties I whom I helped. But that it kind of makes you question the very act of providing your assistance unconditionally. So you know what? So I believe that has rendered me at the moment highly skeptical of of nowadays people. Well, it pretty much means that it pretty much kills my it pretty much kills or extinguished my desire to make any more friends, either face to face or friends on the internet. That's a sad fact. And yes, just right before I make this video, I was watching. Right before I make this video, I was watching Forrest Gump, and it made me think of it made me kind of get a bit of sentimental about my my past lives, my past experiences at high school, where I actually had a handful of loyal Jews who who gave me some sort of indispensable support and assistance. So it's pretty sad. I hate to admit it, but it is a fact, and I don't want you to feel too upset about it, because we still have hope, and that's why I like to mention the presence of the Holy Spirit on me, among us, because despite despite all my recent setbacks, failures, and disappointment with people, I still feel hopeful that one day I will break free from all those earthly nasty shit, and receive the redemption. But I don't, seriously, I do not deserve to get redeemed. In fact, I am planning to have sex with my ex doll, my sex doll, named Ulico. So yes, and you know, particularly if you in China, you must get prepared. You must brace yourself. You must get prepared for getting scanned and manipulated from time to time. In fact, those indoctrination and scams can come with many varieties, such as Christianity. Some middle-aged Chinese ladies can actually threaten you with hell, saying or at least at least claiming that if you are not completely free of sin or continuous sinning, you will certainly go to hell right after your death. That's that sort of thing. And in fact, I just got scanned by those by those kind of middle-aged Chinese women yesterday. That made me quite upset and disoriented, and so yeah, it, like I said, it pretty much extinguished my desires to make any more friends, at least in China, but probably also in Japan or in any other country in the world. You know what? Because no matter how hard you try, how determined you are, you will have to prepare yourself to handle all those no's, all those rejections. And I think it plays I reckon knowing how to handle rejections throughout your life can play a seriously and tremendously vital role to your success as well as survival. Because many people they commit suicide, due to the fact that they, at least a significant number of them failed to handle rejection appropriately and adequately. That's pretty much what I I think of the the underlying mechanism that triggered suicidal thoughts as well as the actual suicide attempts. Yeah, so and what else? Perhaps yes. There's another thing that I like to mention about the Bible. It's somewhere. It should be somewhere. Just please allow me to do a Google search. But before I do the Google search, I will need to circumvent the Great Firewall. Okay. The parable of two sons, I suppose. Parable of